Menu has dished up a lot of specialties, and these are the dishes that make it possible. Welcome to what is affectionately known as the Satellite Farm here at Turner Broadcasting in Atlanta. On the Menu, signal is being transmitted via satellite right now. I've been working at CNN for 15 years, covering the latest in nutrition news and sampling the tastiest trends in cuisine. So let's take a look back and see if you remember some of the foods that made the headlines on CNN.
I tried a lot of other diets.
About cholesterol, monosodium glutamate,
spinach juice, and lose 20 pounds. Concentrated nutrients.
Eat grapefruit!
Nowadays, it seems the constant barrage of information about diet and nutrition is forcing us to approach our meals as minefields. More than ever, eating anything is scary and confusing, and we're obsessed with food. How did it all happen? Well, from the first major reports on diet and cancer, the next step in research to strengthen the connection between diet and cancer involves human volunteers and clinical to the endless stream of health information on caffeine, sugar, salt, fat, and calories. The past 15 years of headlines dished up an extra large serving of nutrition news, much of it hard to swallow. Here are some of the highlights. In 1982, nutrition meant two things: trying to lose weight with the help of liquid formula diets, they didn't work, and trying to stay healthy by eating a diet to prevent cancer. The dietary link to cancer continues to strengthen today. In 1983, one of the biggest nutrition stories cut to the bone, with research on calcium and its importance in preventing osteoporosis. Products touted their calcium content, and antacids made with calcium went after a new group of customers. In 1984, low cholesterol diets were the order of the day, and food labels helped guide shoppers, even if some of the foods never contained cholesterol in the first place. 1985, the lighter side of restaurant meals starts to take off. Instead of offering health-conscious customers a piece of dried broiled fish, creative chefs developed high-flavor foods that were low in fat. But with no regulations, light promises didn't always mean a lower-fat meal. In 1986, scientists warn of a dangerous emerging pathogen. Listeria contaminates unpasteurized dairy products. Scientists today are just starting to learn how prevalent it is in the food supply. In 1987, food safety again. This time, seafood makes a splash when health officials warned of risks when eating raw shellfish. Consumer groups demanded stricter controls. 1988, from hot chilies to cilantro and everything, Southwestern cuisine grabs the nation's attention as more folks search for high-flavored foods without the fat.
It reflects what I call the philosophy of the culture of the area much better than some of the foods that you associate with Tex-Mex or so-called Southwestern foods.
1989, consumer backlash as food scientists introduce BST, a controversial bioengineered hormone that helps dairy cows produce more milk. Critics warned that cows given BST develop more udder infections, and antibiotics given to cows could end up in the milk. Also that year, more consumer demand for back to nature, as organic produce goes mainstream, showing up in major supermarkets. 1990, a banner year for nutrition news, as both oat bran and olive oil are touted as wonder foods in the fight against heart disease. Olive oil sales reached new heights, and food companies responded with everything from oat bran pretzels to oat bran donuts. 1991, hold on to your grocery cart as food companies race to produce fat-free products galore. It will take a few more years before consumers learn fat-free doesn't mean you're free to eat all you want. Also in 91, good news for wine lovers. Research shows that drinking red wine, like the French and Italians, may be why they have less heart disease than Americans. Red wine sales boom in the USA. Where were you in 92? Well, if you were like most of us, you were shocked to hear that margarine, which everyone thought was heart healthy, may actually be just as bad as butter in causing hardening of the arteries.
I'd have to regroup and reevaluate.
In 1993, one of the biggest food scares in recent times. Undercooked hamburgers contaminated with the bacteria E. coli 0157H7 killed several small children in the Pacific Northwest and sickened many others. This deadly strain of E. coli still infects the meat supply today, and consumers are encouraged to thoroughly cook ground beef. In 1994, it promised the taste of fat without the calories. The fake fat Olestra springs onto the scene. Critics voiced concerns about side effects, including diarrhea. Today, FDA approval limits Olestra's use to salty snack foods. Say you feel like you were just born to be fat? Well, in 1995, research proves you may be right, as scientists announced the discovery of genes that may cause or prevent obesity in some people. But dieters are cautioned not to blame it all on genetics. Diet and exercise remain the gold standard in weight control. Another food scare in '96, mad cow disease in Great Britain grips the world with the fear that eating beef from infected cows may cause the disease in humans. Scientists still debate whether there's evidence to support the connection. 1997 was the year we heard that there are more overweight Americans than ever before. And as we tip the scales, we turn to drugs for help. Diet drugs such as fen-phen and Redux rack up record sales, but many caution of their potentially serious side effects.
One thing that hasn't changed in 15 years, the endless pursuit of diets that work and don't require any work to follow. Stay tuned to CNN as we continue to chronicle that search. Coming up next on this anniversary edition of On the Menu, what was the best thing I ever tasted? How about the weirdest? And why did I go to prison?